answer. The gender binary is man, woman, because obviously binary too. So at one side you've got feminine women, and then you kind of go over, and then you've got masculine men. And obviously there are feminine men, there are masculine women, and everything like that. But at the end of the day, that masculine woman is still a woman. That feminine man is still a man. So that's what it means. Woman, man. That's the binary. To be non-binary is to exist outside of that. So it's to say, I see this man, I see this woman, I don't really vibe with either. I'm not feeling either. I'm not a part of either. And it's not just a case of you can't really, just because a man likes pink and a woman likes blue, that doesn't mean they're kind of betraying their gender anyway. That's a thing that you might hear a lot, and it's ridiculous. But it's a case of because you can hear a lot of people say to you, oh, well, you don't want to be a masculine man. Well, you don't have to be a masculine man. You don't have to say you're non-binary. You just don't have to be a masculine man. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to. For me, I'm speaking from my own experiences, obviously, but for me, I'm not a man at all. And you should never let what's in your pants define what your gender is, because that doesn't define you. What's in here isn't what you are. What's in here and in here is what you are. And if in here and in here you don't feel like you were meant to be a part of it, and you weren't meant to be a part of that binary, then you're not. This doesn't define you, and other people don't define you. That's what's up to you. And like I say, whatever you feel in here, that's what's relevant. And if you're not part of that binary, whatever that is, whether you want to be non-binary or anything like that, then that's entirely up to you. But the binary is man or woman, and if you don't want to be a part of that, then that's when you're non-binary.
Why are people non-binary?
A question. I've sometimes it's like a woman can embrace being a woman and all the feminine things that come with it, and a man can embrace being a man and all of the masculine traits that come with that, and it feels right to them, and that it fits, and it feels like, yes, I was born as this, I am this, and I feel this, which is totally fine. I'm not here to say anything about cisgendered people, but there are those of us who were born and where we feel like we are told this is what gender we are, but it doesn't feel right. And time will go on, and the older you get, especially when you become a teenager and you get all of those feelings, all those hormones and that, and you will feel like even stronger that it doesn't feel quite right, and you start to get to a point. Obviously, I'm AMAB. We say AMAB or AFAB, which is assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. I was assigned male at birth, obviously, and I was told, oh, boys don't do this, boys don't cry, boys don't show their feelings, and I was like, but I was always a very emotional person. I was very in touch with my feelings. I didn't want to play football. I wanted to play games and look at cute things, and those are things that are usually associated with women. But at the same time, I didn't feel like I was a woman. I didn't feel like I should have been a woman. I felt more closely related to a woman, but I didn't feel like I was either. And when I was growing up, there wasn't a word for it. There was no such thing as non-binary. You were a man or a woman, and then you were a trans man or a woman. There was nothing else. So when all this movement of third wave feminism came out, and all these new terms and things started to come out, and these new names for sexualities and stuff like that, and I heard non-binary and I knew what it was, and I looked into it, I was like, wow, there's finally a word to describe what I've been feeling all my life. So for me, everyone defines what they identify as differently. It's like a fingerprint. It's not going to be the same for every person. And for me, non-binary is I don't identify as the gender I was assigned, but I also don't identify with the other one. I'm not part of that binary. I'm either in the middle or I'm outside of it. I'm neither. I'm just, first and foremost, I'm me.
So, how do I know what pronoun to use if I'm unsure?
It's really down to the individual. I mean, some people will go by pronouns that we already have that exist. Some people have been known to make their own. I mean, when you think man, you think he, him. When you see woman, you think she, her. And when you think non-binary, usually you think they, them. But I have known my non-binary people refer to themselves as ze, as jijim. I have known non-binary refer to themselves as it and its. So it's whatever identity fits you, really. I feel like, I mean, for me, I use they, them because I don't feel like I match male or female. I feel like I'm kind of outside of that, obviously what non-binary is, but I feel like you would just refer to me as you would do if you were talking about someone whose gender you didn't know. You would, instead of assuming, you would say they or them. So that's why for me it was kind of like it felt like it fit. But you'll know. It's like when people say, how will you know when you're in love? You'll know because you get that feeling and it feels right. It's the same with how you identify yourself. When that feeling, when you find that word, that phrase, and it fits, you'll feel it and you'll know. So it's entirely up to you, and you've just got to keep looking until you find it, really.
How can I learn more about non binary and intersex communities?
It's all about who you surround yourself with. My easiest option to you would be, say, look online, because people feel, you'll especially hear people that don't agree with our way of life, that we're taking over, that it may feel that way because we all meet each other and we speak online and we congregate in certain places online. So when you do find us, there's usually a group of us, and it's because we find each other and we stick to each other. But out in the real world, when you're walking around and you meet other people, we're very few and far between and we're very rare. There's a lot of us online because that's the best place we can meet. But when we go out and about, you'll be very hard pressed to find someone just walking down the street, especially in England, who's non-binary. I am non-binary, obviously, but I am the only non-binary person I know. I know no one else in my everyday life that's non-binary. And I have never met another non-binary person in person, ever. I've only ever met them online. I'm the only one I've ever met. So we are rare. So I do understand that. But your best bet is to try and find people in groups online that are from communities and non-binary communities and things like that. And there are a lot of intersex communities online as well. But if you want to meet the people that you have a connection with through being non-binary, you can do one of two things. You can either find out what country they're from and go to them, or they can come here. And then the other one is try and find someone local, which, like I said, is quite difficult. But there will be people, there might not be many, but there's a good chance that you will find someone local who's non-binary or intersex. And like I said, the best way is online. You find people online and then you try and narrow the margin every single time. Is there anyone from Europe? Is there anyone from the UK? Is there anyone from England? Is there anyone from the North? Kind of going down like that and seeing how many people there are. And then once you've got it down to that amount, you can go, okay, So this is another non-binary person that's local relatively to me. I can meet them in person if you want to, but for me personally, I say I feel comfortable. I'm more comfortable online than I am in person, as most people are. So I feel a lot more comfortable meeting and speaking with these people online and surrounding myself with those people. So it's just going online, and it is literally as simple as going on social media and searching non-binary and things like that. And like if you go on Facebook, you'll find a Facebook group if you search that. If you go on Tumblr, you'll find a blog that's about those kinds of things. You know, if you go on Instagram, you'll find a page that shares people's stories that's to do with non-binary. All you have to do is search it, and through that you can meet people like you, because they'll be in the comments and things like that. They'll be sharing things with each other, and you'll feel that, oh yeah, I can relate to that, I know that feeling. So that's probably the best way that you're going to be able to do it, really.
Are bisexual people just folks who haven't finished coming out as gay or lesbian?
No, and that is the thing. If you are bisexual, you will hear that constantly. I've heard them all. It's a phase. You're straight and you're curious. You're gay and you just don't want to come out. You're scared of coming out. I've heard that everyone's a little bit bi. That's a weird one that I've heard before. That you can name it. I've heard it. I've had it said to me. I've had it said to people I know. And when it comes to this, people need to learn as well. There are two differences between gender identity and sexual identity. Your gender identity is the gender that you define yourself as, like male, female, things like that. Your sexual identity is what you are or are not attracted to. And I am bisexual, so it's a common myth that there's a lot of people that will argue the difference between being bisexual and pansexual. And it's believed that pansexual means they love anyone and are attracted to anyone regardless of their gender. And bisexual people, they believe bisexual people are attracted to only men and women because of the bi, obviously meaning two. But the LGBT community, the actual LGBT, was started by a bisexual woman, and she would have been the first to tell you that bisexuality means, if you actually look at the flag, which is, the flag is always an accurate representation that describes the sexuality and the gender identity and things like that. So with bisexuality, the top is pink, the bottom is blue, and the middle is purple. The top is pink to represent women, the bottom is blue to represent men, and the purple is in the middle to represent the crossover of everything in between. So, no, bisexuality isn't a phase. It's not people that haven't dedicated to coming out. It's not like a choice or anything like that you'll hear. You are born a certain way, and you are born with these things that you look for in a partner. Whether that's the same sex or different sexes, it doesn't matter. So I would say it's not just a phase. It's not a person that hasn't finished coming out or anything like that. It's someone who, it's a legitimate sexuality, it's a legitimate sexual attraction, it's a legitimate way of life. And it's not a choice, it's who you are. It's no more, you can no more control being bisexual than you can control the colours of your eyes.